My name is Robert Fulton. I was a pilot for almost 50 years. As a kid, I loved airplanes, built models, and read every book I could get hold of on World War II or flying in general. My folks were in the RCAF. They were not in the air crew, but they had all the trappings of the Air Force, which I grew up with uniforms and magazines, etc. I started my career in Vietnam as a helicopter pilot and subsequently was able to go into civilian aviation. I put on almost 22,000 hours in almost 50 years of flying. I flew over in excess of 40 different aircraft, helicopters, and airplanes. When my time came, I never saw the retirement part coming. I was flying. I was the director of operations for a life flight hospital program, and I always had something to fly every day of my career. Got a call from HR. We'd like to see you at 8 o'clock in the morning. You know they're not going to give you a raise, and that's not a fun call to get at the close of a day. I went in the next morning and they closed what had been almost a 30-year program, laid off all the pilots, and went to a commercial rather than the government sponsored life flight program. Bang, in less than 24 hours, I was totally out of my career. I went home, I sat in my chair, and I stared at the wall. And I don't mean I watched television. I had no idea what to do. I had a small sailboat and other interests. I had no interest in anything because I wasn't sure what I was going to do or how I was going to even make money. Fortunately, my life was drastically changed at a dinner party where I met Marianne Osher and her husband Bill. And Marianne at the time was getting her credentials for coaching in retirement. I proceeded to go to counseling with Marianne, and I would say maybe 6 weeks or 2 months, I don't remember, but it was a great experience because through her questions and her probing, I was able to discover things I'd thought about, but I had no idea I had the talent to carry carry out. So we she one of the questions I remember is what is your perfect day? And I described that. And she had other exercises which I failed fulfilled. But the idea that I had always wanted to write came to the forefront, and we discussed that. And the marvelous thing about the whole process was that I was getting to open up a part of myself that I had no idea really existed, or a part of myself that I had where I had gifts and talents I had no idea I could develop. So that was the richest thing about that opportunity. Um, the other thing was that getting the coaching to going in, and I had no idea this type of coaching existed, or I would have, but it worked out perfect for me. I subsequently wrote two books and a script, all with acclaim. Although I previously had no real formal or extensive writing, except my fact that I love to read. That took me into a world of speaking, meeting all kinds of interesting people. My book has been featured in large at a large air shows um, where I have gone and done signings, etc. I have had speeches where people were impressed enough that other people came and asked me to give speeches. So I give speeches where I tell stories out of my book often, and then sell my book afterwards. But even if I don't, I've talked to groups that, such as veterans and so on, that can identify uh, with my experiences. Striving to keep pushing my speech forward, which as I said earlier, writing was the big thing. And I did two great books. Well, I'm not the greatest at mine, if I might modestly say. They turned out to be very successful, and I'd love to write another one. But I'm going on the speaking route at the time, promoting my book. and promoting speeches. I'm trying to get on a national speaking bureau. I'm on the Naples, um, Florida speaking bureau, and I have an active life with still lots of interests. I have a bigger sailboat. I love to build models. Love to read. I'd love to learn to play the banjo, the cello, and go to South Africa and hike. I may run out of time, but I have never in my life had so much energy and enthusiasm, motivation, and clear view of my way ahead, and the fact that I can now manage my own time. And so I would just say in closing that I myself was grateful to have had the coaching opportunity with Marianne, and who's launched me on a whole new life.